Welcome to the Through These Gates podcast, the most rational Nebraska football show on the whole damn internet. We're back for another week, and so is video. That's right, video's back. I told you it'd be back, bitches. I'm trying to get the live thing figured out, but for whatever reason, StreamYard, I run several other channels. StreamYard absolutely hates this channel, which is weird because this is arguably where I say the least amount of controversial shit. But for whatever reason, they will not let me stream to this channel and this channel only. I'm in contact with someone trying to get it figured out because I would like to do a live call-in type show where we could set up a Google Voice or something and we could have people call in if they had questions or comments or something. But whatever, that's just not in the cards right now. That was my initial goal. Sorry, drinking coffee here. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm not caffeinated enough yet. So we're working toward getting the whole live stream thing set up. I don't know. I also want to bring other people in here, like guest hosts and stuff, so it's not just me, because I know as much as you love me, it's cool to see other faces sometimes, and they have unique perspectives, and it brings another element and another dynamic to the show. It's not always even on That's Based. I don't do it all by myself. We have we have occasional guests and stuff come through the studio, or even remotely. So it's not just me. And I think that really adds to it because sometimes a fresh face really does go a long way. So we're working on that. Right now, though, we're focused on Purdue. We're here. Mickey Joseph, the Oklahoma game wasn't real. Didn't even happen. It's like the moon landing. Completely fake. You know? Totally fake. Didn't happen at all. And he's 2-0 as far as I'm concerned. We're ready, man. Purdue. 14-point dogs. Nebraska's lost 24 games in a row where they were double-digit dogs. You want to know the last game they won where they were a double-digit dog? Alamo Bowl, 2005 with Billy C. Bill Callahan. That's the last time Nebraska won a game where they were double-digit dogs. It was against Michigan. It was a great game with that flea flicker at the end. It was wild, man. Shout out to Zach Bowman for saving the game there. I think this will be a good game, though. I think this is going to be close. I don't think either team's going to win by 14 points. I think Purdue is a tad bit overrated, if you ask me. I don't think they're a bad team. I think they're a bowl team. But when you look at their schedule, there's nothing that really pops out on it, right? They lost to Penn State the first week of the season, 35-31. Now, Penn State's 5-0, but Penn State doesn't exactly have an impressive resume. They beat the hell out of Auburn, but Auburn is kind of in the same position we were under Scott Frost, a complete mess. So they lost 35-31 to Penn State. They beat Indiana State 56-0, which all the credit in the world to them. Congratulations. You know, they took care of business against an FCS team. They lost 32-29 to Syracuse, who is, by Syracuse standards, a good team. They're yet to be tested. Purdue was probably their biggest test. They beat Louisville, who's not exactly all that this year. And they beat Connecticut. They beat Virginia by 2, and then they handled Wagner. So I don't... And they beat Florida Atlantic 28-26, Minnesota 2010. Minnesota's probably the most impressive game they've won, and Maryland 31-29. There's just nothing on there that pops out to me to where I would say, oh yeah, I'd take Purdue at -14 over Nebraska, and that's completely unbiased. I've talked to friends that are into gambling, right? Unbiased, not Nebraska fans. Shout out to the Crooks and Books podcast. Go check out Kay Deuces, the sports bet queen over there. She'll hook you up. Check their show out for NFL bets every week. I make appearances on there from time to time. But I've talked to people that are into gambling, right? And they're like, I don't see any way that Purdue's a 14-point favorite. I just don't see Purdue coming out and beating the brakes off of Nebraska. Now, if Frost were still the coach, or if this were in September, I could see that. But given the current state of affairs, I just don't see any way that Purdue is going to win by double digits. And I could be totally wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments. Smash that like button either way. But let me know in the comments Tell me why I'm a dumbass. Why are we going to get blown out by Purdue? You negative Nancy's are still out there. I know everyone's drinking the Mickey Joseph Kool-Aid, but the negative Nancy's are still out there. Tell me why we're going to lose. Tell me why we're going to not just lose, but get humiliated. I want to hear it. Tell me. But I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I think Aiden O'Connell, the way people talked about him before the season, I could have told you was an overreaction. But I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I mean, he certainly looked good against us last year. Decent against us last year. So I don't know. I think a lot of it hinges on that offensive line. We'll see. It's a complete mess. And I feel like a broken record here because I keep talking about the offensive line, but truly, that's what it comes down to is the offensive line. Like, if we don't have an offensive line, it doesn't matter. Like, Casey Thompson can be as good of a quarterback as he wants, but we don't have an offensive line to protect him, and he doesn't seem to want to run at all. And that was, the more I think about it, that's what confused me so much about that call against Rutgers last week. The 4th and 1 where they lined up with an empty backfield. Casey Thompson has shown no indication that he wants to run out of the pocket. So, I mean, if you got a quarterback like Adrian Martinez that's a threat to run the ball, I can understand lining up 5 wide because they have to respect you. They got to keep at least one guy back, and that opens up some options in the passing game, and it also has the option that he could take off and run for the first down. But that wasn't on the table, and Rutgers knew that, and they're like, okay, well, we're not really going to do all that much here. We'll drop back and see if your line can protect you long enough, and one of your receivers not named Trey Palmer can get open. Which does scare me. We do need to have another target emerge, and I think that's going to be one of the things I'm looking for. We need another target to emerge that's not named Trey Palmer, and he needs to be part of the offense consistently going forward. I know everyone thought it was going to be Garcia Castaneda, but then his dad went full LeVar Ball on Twitter, and he left. Seriously, LeVar Ball has... If you thought sports parents were bad, LeVar Ball has created a new generation of just mutant, superhuman, terrible sports parents. To go on, listen, I don't care what happened. I don't care who's telling the truth. Usually, from what I understand, in every case, in every situation, from what I've learned, somewhere there's 2 sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth, right? I'm sure it could have been handled better, him losing playing time, but for his dad to go on Twitter and call Mickey Joseph a lying piece of shit, it's completely uncalled for. No matter who was in the wrong there, that's a bad look. And other teams are going to be more cautious about bringing you in because they don't want the baggage. They don't want the family circus that comes with you. So that's just a side note there. But no, I do want to see. I do want to see what receivers. I do want to see a number 2 option removed, and it doesn't have to be receiver. So Garcia Castaneda's out. Omar Manning is a ghost. No clue what's gone on with that guy. No idea. You want to talk about recruiting busts? He's up there. He's up there with like Harrison Beck type recruiting busts. I mean, everyone thought, between him and Xavier Betts was just going to be monstrous, but nothing. Xavier Betts, at least we saw something for him, and it seems like there was more than football going on there, and that's why he left the team. But nothing. Just top 5 recruiting busts in the 21st century for Nebraska. Comment your top 5 recruiting busts for Nebraska. Let me know below. Who are the top 5 recruiting busts in the 21st century for Nebraska? I think Omar Manning's up there. You got to have Harrison Beck. That's tough. Because you go back and look, guys like Marlon Lucky, who was a solid player here. He wasn't bad by any means. But everyone thought he was going to be, the next Lawrence Phillips without the off-the-field problems. You're talking, the guy was number 1, 2 running back in the country out of Hollywood, California, and he just never did anything. And Callahan was weird. I don't know if he forgot that he had red shirts, but he killed a red shirt for him to carry the ball like 25 times his freshman year. It was just goofy. And, I don't know. Marlon Lucky, I think I would put up there. Chase Rome is another name. Big time. You watched that guy's highlight reel. You thought, oh, man, Sue's leaving and we got this guy coming in. Here we go. And just nothing. just nothing at all. So, yeah, Keyshawn Johnson Jr.'s probably got to be another one in terms of recruiting bust. Tyjon Lindsey's got to be up there. We've missed a lot, and I wouldn't put the blame on all the kids either. Like, a lot of that's player development. It's like we said in the offseason offensive preview, there's just not you can't have that much talent in terms of 4 and 5 stars and tell me that none of them pan out. Like, that's law of averages says you're doing something wrong there. So, anyway, I got trailed off really bad there. Holy crap, twice. We do need to see a second target emerge. So Omar Manning out, Garcia Castaneda out. I mean, I guess it could be Oliver Martin. I think that would be pretty boring because I think you've seen what Oliver Martin can give you. I don't think there's anything up to the imagination as far as what you're going to get out of Oliver Martin as a receiver on this team. I don't think there's anything else there. He's a solid guy as a number 3 or number 4. I just don't. He doesn't have that X factor that you're looking for in a top 2 guy on a Big Ten team. Marcus Washington. They seem to want it to be Washington. Thompson wants it. They got the Texas connection and the chemistry, so Thompson wants it. Whipple seems to want it because they work it to him a lot. But in the rare event where he does catch the ball, he just doesn't do much with it. And I don't know. I don't know if they're drawing plays up for him poorly or what, but he just doesn't do much with the ball. Brody Belt is another one I guess you could look at. He seems like more of a slot guy, and it seemed kind of the same category as Martin. I just don't see him as the number 2 guy. You know, I just don't see it. He's cool because they can use him and they can run the ball with him. Alante Brown would be the ideal candidate. I mean, he stuck through it for a 4-star recruit like him to play special teams almost exclusively for 3 years like that. That's a great team player. And he's got all the speed in the world. He was a 4-star recruit, but for whatever reason, they can't make him out, or they can't turn him into what he needs to be to compete at the Big Ten level in terms of being a receiver. I don't know. So, I mean, that almost leaves you, you got to go tight end at that point. So, I think it's got to be Vokalek, and Vokalek had the best game we've seen from him. Finally caught a touchdown, for God's sake. So I think if Whipple's really figured out how to use Vokalek as an effective receiver, I think that's actually your number 2 guy, and there's no problem with that. With the tight end being your number 2 guy, the Patriots won Super Bowls with Gronk and Edelman being 1A and 1B, or 1 and however you want to rank it. But I mean, Gronk, you could argue that Gronk was the number 1 guy. You could argue that Travis Kelce's the number 1 guy in Kansas City. So I don't think it's out of the question or a bad thing to have a tight end who's the number 2 guy. They just need to figure out how to consistently work him into the offense. So yeah, I think that's going to be one of the key things, is finding that consistent guy. The guy you can consistently get the ball to that's not named Trey Palmer, because teams are going to start keying on him, and they're going to start taking him away and saying, okay, beat us with somebody else now. Yeah, we'll sacrifice a safety or an extra defensive back to take Trey Palmer out of your offense because we don't think you can beat us any other way. Your offensive line can't block enough for Grant. You can't consistently run the ball with Anthony Grant to beat us. Because that offensive line, the problem with a run-first offense like that, it's great as long as you have a good enough offensive line. Because if you have 2 bad plays in a row, you're looking at 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, right? 3rd and 12. And you can't rely on this offensive line to run the ball consistently. You just can't do it, man. It's just not there. Adrian Martinez watch from last week. Let's see how he did before we wrap this show up. These pregame shows are always quicker. You guys know how it goes. There's not as much. There's always more to say after the fact because, well, hindsight's 20/20. Adrian Martinez watch last week. They beat Iowa State 10-9. Also, can we shut up about Matt Campbell now? Can we shut up? Mike Riley 2.0. Can we stop? Adrian Martinez went 12 and 19, 246 yards, a touchdown, no picks, 19 rushes, 77 yards, no fumbles, no touchdowns. Solid numbers. Good shit for him. Good job. My prediction, I'm gonna go Nebraska. 21-17. I think we keep up this momentum, and I think we get better and better every week until we get killed by Michigan. But I think we win this weekend. We'll see with Illinois. I'm not going to make any predictions going that far out. We have obviously proven that this is a team you have to take on a week-by-week basis. So 21-17 Nebraska. Let me know your predictions in the bottom in the comments. Also, let me know who you think the number 2 receiver should be. Who do you think it's going to be? Because someone's going to have to emerge here if we want to maintain any type of sustainable success, on offense at least. Someone's got to emerge as the number 2 guy. Who do you think it's going to be? Do you think Washington gets it together? Do you think they work vocal-like into the offense more? Do you think they throw their arms up, say, screw it, we'll roll with Martin? Notice I didn't even say Wyatt Lever because so. But thank you so much. This has been the Through These Gates podcast. Check out my other show, That's Based, every Saturday on outlawstreamers.com. It's called That's Based with Caleb Salvatore. It's also on Rumble, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Not on YouTube, but my personal YouTube channel, Caleb Salvatore. You can follow me there. I post clips from that show every day. So there will be clips with links to the full show, and you'll be able to check the whole thing out there. So yeah, go check that out. Make sure you like here, subscribe, turn your notifications on, share around, comment. Do all that crap. Even if you just comment hi, it helps us with the algorithm. Comment and tell me you don't like my stupid face. Tell me I need to lose weight. That I look like one of the boxcars that somebody graffitied all over. Whatever you want. Just insult me. I do need to lose weight. But that's another story. I got the Bread and Circuses podcast also. Go check that out. My comedy show with Nick Kohler, comedian. He's from Omaha, but based in El Paso, Texas at the moment. What else we got here? Anything else I want to plug? Oh, yeah, October 29th, Night of the Laughing Dead. It's a Saturday, 9 p.m. We'll get tickets, ticket link to it in the description here. Comedy and Chaos Presents down at Beach House Bar and Grill. We love them there. They let us do all kinds of crazy shows. If you're going to be out and about watching the game this Saturday, tomorrow, I guess, I'll be at Senate's in Papillion for the game. One of my boys is coming back into town, and we're going to celebrate with him and throw back some shots and watch the game. You want to come hang out? Come up and say hi to me. I won't be shy. If you're going there already because they're a great venue, great atmosphere, come by and hang out with me. They're not a sponsor. I just like promoting good places. I like to see good people do well. And I'll do whatever kind of support I can. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel here. Hopefully we'll get the live stream crap working. I had some issues with the audio episode last week. It did get published yesterday for the Rutgers reaction. So sorry if you're on audio, if you missed that one. That's my fault. I hit upload, thought it went, and apparently it failed because I went and checked last night. Excuse me, hiccups. I went and checked last night, and it said it hadn't uploaded. So I got it up there now. If you want to go listen to it on audio, then go ahead. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's kind of, unfortunately, it's kind of time sensitive. I just didn't want to not have it there. So it's better late than never, I guess, even if it's fucking super late as hell and shit. But yeah, hopefully we'll get StreamYard figured out and I can start doing live streams on here. Who knows, man? Maybe the StreamYard guy is like an Iowa fan. And he's like, screw this. We're not gonna let them push that Nebraska propaganda here. But anyway, thank you so much. Let me know all the questions I had for you. Answer them in the bottom of the comments. Like, subscribe, share, turn the notifications on. We already talked about it. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on TikTok. Caleb Tells Jokes on Snapchat. And yeah, that's it. See you guys on Sunday for the post game if I'm not hungover. God help us all. Thank you.